Good morning, everybody. Today we can talk about some of the corruptions that was going on in the country under the farmer administration. I said some because this is just a few of many. First thing we can talk about this super salary. I get a name from one of my good friend. Harmon was the Minister of State under the farmer administration. After Charon Das would have voted against him, they would have said Charon Das is not a legal member of parliament because he's a dual citizen. Because he's a citizen of the next country. Because they start fabricating all kind of bullshit about Charon Das. They went with Charon Das is not a legal member because he's a dual citizen. So after that, the court would have ruled that nobody with dual citizen could be a member of parliament. So Harmon didn't want to give up his dual citizen, so he resigned as the Minister of State. Now he didn't have a job, so Granger take it upon himself to create a job for Harmon as the Director General of the Ministry of the Presidency. What the position is, I don't know. What Harmon was doing, I don't know. Or I should say what Granger was doing, I don't know. Because if Harmon was the Director General of the Ministry of the Presidency, what Granger was doing? For me, everybody was calling Nagamutu a rubber stamp. That's what he is. I'm not saying he is not a rubber stamp. But it looked like Granger was also a rubber stamp. It looked like Harmon was the man who was calling all the shots. Right? Now they're saying Ethan Ali is a mask for Jaglio. So it looked like Granger was a mask for Harmon. Now, in the position that Harmon hold, after he resigned, he was getting 900,000 Guyana dollars a month. $900,000 a month for a useless minister. Day in all, Harmon was collecting an additional $393,400 a month. Let me repeat that. $900,000 is your regular salary. Plus, he used to collect an additional $393,400. This $393,400 was for $100,000 Harmon Entertainment, $128,400 Harmon Made, $65,000 Harmon Gardener. I wonder if he had any salary for dog. It ain't done that. It went on further. Harmon utility bills, water, light, internet, etc. was still paid for by taxpayers' money. So Harmon was collecting $1,293,400 a month. And the taxpayers still used to pay Harmon utility bills. And this is just one useless minister. One. So if Harmon was holding a makeup position and making $1.3 million a month, what the official ministers them was getting. The remaining ministers them who was going to parliament, what they was getting. What was Granger's salary? What was Nagamutu's salary? Valda Lawrence, Simona Brooms, Basil Williams, and the rest of them. What was their salary? Now, they in all. Remember, Harman them got signed all kind of corrupt deals, corrupt contract, take bribe from companies like ExxonMobil and them. Remember all these state funds, including the $4 billion from the forestry, and there was only the reserve, the forestry reserve. We ain't talking about all the rest of the money we collect before the forestry go bankrupt. Right? $200 million for Guybridge for asphalt when they never do no road. I don't know if Harman and Granger all got asphalt in the bedroom. Because there is no other way they could have put the asphalt with us to pay $200 million, with a whole $200 million for. The $90 billion deficit in the central bank. The $20 billion US dollar goal. Where all the money went? The money was split up between these people. They can't say they take the money for do nothing. Because the only thing they do since they go in there was try to fix up the urban park and paint the state building in green. Other than that, they didn't spend the money to do anything else. And the Durban Park project, $600 million couldn't give a count for. Where did all the money go? I hear the PNC supporters them coming out say how Granger do road and all these things is project that was started under the PPP. And when the PPP left office in 2015, they left money to complete every single project that was going on in the country at the time. So all the road work Granger say doing all kind of bullshit. And all these projects, the money wasn't there for them already. So Granger didn't do nothing. Granger just follow on as to what Donna Ramatar left. As Donna Ramatar would have followed on from what Jack Dio left. Right? So they didn't spend money for do nothing. Where all this money went? We're talking about the 18 million what ExxonMobil they give them and went in somebody's account. Where Winston Jordan said that he thought it was a gift from ExxonMobil. He couldn't give a count for the money, so he said he thought it was a gift. So because it's a gift, nobody have to give a count for it. Where all them money went? Next, Nagamutu. I see something on Facebook said Nagamutu was paying his two children in America $1 million each as advisors to the Prime Minister. I don't know. I'm not a politician. I don't really follow these things, but I never hear that a Prime Minister have an advisor. In this case, he had two, and he two cheering them who ain't even living in Guyana. But they was collecting $1 million a month. There's $24 million a year for two persons who ain't even doing nothing for the country. And there's only Nagamutu cheering them. We're talking about the rest of politicians, children and family, what they was getting. And these people still coming out on the road protesting to keep these people in power. and making nice to keep them in power. When only them and their family who was collecting this money. Money wasn't going to none of the supporters. I can't say the Indian community, because if they wasn't doing for their own black community, they would do for the Indian. No, that won't happen. The $800+ million for the school, what they give BK the contract. When the official assessment say it can only cost 400 and something million. Where the next 400 million went? Right? So Nagamuntu 2 train collecting $2 million a month for live a lavish life in America with we money, with Guyanese taxpayers' money. He trained them living a happy and comfortable life in America with we money. And the people them who working hard in the hot sun whole day can't get nothing from this government. And it's their money. They own money. But I'm gonna let y'all know something. And y'all can say I'm racist for talking this, so I don't give a frick. They didn't care whether they was thieving the money or not. Two reasons. One, because the black PNC is a black party, so they can do what they want. And the black community can support that. It's the Indian people who pays 90% of the taxes in Guyana. 90% of the revenue the government collect yearly come from the Indian community. So as long as the black can thief the Indian money, everybody happy with that. Yeah, so we're moving on. Simona brooms. I would like to know what happened to the $20 million where they collect illegally. What happened to the money? This is the kind of things that used to go on in the country under the PNC. It's the same thing used to go on in Bonham time. The only difference is that Bonham alone used to thief for them time. Now the whole cabal thieving it. Every single one of them people in there is thief. Every single one. And this is just Harman and Nagamutu and Simona Brooms. Well, we know what Simona Broom's salary is yet. And the rest of what she was doing illegally and collecting money. We know about them things there yet. And who else was sending money to the children who living overseas and who going to school overseas? Because if Harman collecting $900,000 and we the people still got to pay him maiden, he garden, and give him money to go and party. There is no way none of these ministers take their own money, their salary, and send for the children. No way. They mean they was taking the Guyanese people money and fund the children's schooling and giving the children a lavish life in the foreign countries with the people of Guyana money. But you don't see none of the blows them coming out blowing for these. Right? You don't see none of them coming for this. But you can hear them coming out accusing the PPP for thieving and corruption because they consider the PPP to be a coolie party. So they come out and talk all kind of thing about the coolie party, all kind of lies, fabrication, allegations against the PPP. Right? But because the PNC is considered a black party, nobody can come out to the blow now and say nothing about them. Nobody ain't gonna come out to the blow now. All the blow last, the gun. None of them, you gonna hear none of them coming out talking nothing about these things. About this thieving we went on, about these corruptions. And this is just Harman, I would say. And Nagamutu. Well, we ain't getting into depths with Nagamutu as yet. So we just put this basically, mostly on Harmon. This is just Harmon. $1.3 million a month. And he didn't even have a position in government. Come on. I hear Jack Dio say something in a press conference he had yesterday. That they promised to make everything transparent. And they will make everything transparent.
I just wanted to say to you, just be a little patient, because there would be a new board in place, and all of these things that we promise to make public before the elections in our numerous discussions with the public or presentations to the media. The president did it on the campaign trail, on the platform. All of these would be made available to the media.
Mr. Jagdeo, with all due respect, you also promise to put these people in jail. You also promise to do an investigation into these money and these people as to where all the money went, how the money was spending. You promised that too. I ain't hear you say nothing about that.
Investigations will take place, and you will have details, and you will. So we intend to faithfully implement the promises we made to the electorate.
One of my subscribers keeps saying one thing over and over and over. And I don't want to reply to he because, trust me, I'm 50-50 in believing and not believing what he's saying. Because he's saying PPP done in power already. And I'm going to forgive these people for the things they do to the people, to the country. I kind of believe him and I kind of don't believe him, because I believe Jack Dio gonna do what he say he gonna do. Right? So Mr. Jack Dio, you promised to do that. We're looking forward to that. We are looking forward to that. Now, moving on to the next cross. Amna Ali. Amna Ali say the ticket that they share out for the Bojabantan show, the money they take to buy the ticket is donation. It's donation. And it's not the taxpayers' money. I can tell you something. PNC have a lot of donors. Because the 200,000 US what Harmon the Highland Lobbying Forum with unknown to Granger was also donations. Hey, all these things, they have to be investigated. All these things have to be investigated. We ain't taking no forgiving and nobody for thieving with money, putting the country in the state it is at the moment.
Do a professional job, and we want to take our time at doing this to ensure that the people of this country understand the excesses that took place. So from the National Tender Board to the regional tender boards, you're going to see an examination of the contracts that were issued, and I was shocked to see how many were issued without any form of tendering, direct procurement. But
Winston Jordan, former finance minister, lend GPL $10+ billion. No, I'm just giving you a heads up as to where the money then was going.
Winston Jordan, he made a loan to GPL of $10.7 billion. And this was not a loan for public service. So this was, in my view, an illegal disbursement. Nowhere in our financial laws would they allow the Minister of Finance to disburse from the consolidated fund $10.7 billion in a loan for capital expenditure, because this was used to pay for some Wärtsilä plant that they were buying.
40 million liabilities uncovered in Fisheries Department. Utility companies, 120 million. Hey, I tell you what, boy. Imagine these people had all this money. Then him saw 5 years ago. And they're still owing people hundreds of millions of dollars. Now here Jagdi was saying that $130+ billion whole people that they have to put in this budget.
$5 billion here overall to be reflected in this year's budget too. And then
that's 2020. So no money could have legally spent in these contracts. So they didn't pay none of the people that get all these contracts too. All the money come back in this year. So this government have to find $130-something billion to pay those contracts. And whatsoever the things they was doing then. Tell me how these things here can be fair, man. How these things can be fair. How this can be fair to we people them and we country. And people can still come out there and try to support these people. They just show the kind of people we have in the country. And some of them coming out on social media talking about the PPP supporters them racial. When you come out and talk about who racial and who racial, you should go look in the mirror. And when you look in the mirror, close your eye, and when you open your eye in front of the mirror, you will see a racial person there. Because for you accusing somebody to be racial, you have to be a racial person. For you even thinking about racism, you're a racial person. But you know what? Y'all don't want people to call y'all for what y'all is. So y'all pointing finger to other people, creating a distraction. So people must say, oh, the one racial, but you ain't racial. For you to speak or think racism, that means you're a racial person. Again, this whole situation needs some blows. All the blow them vanish. They're gone. Now, low in field. Court matter was yesterday. And I still see them out there free low in field. Free low in field. Free low in field. I see low in field liar asking the DPP to remove low in field charges. The same thing what I do for Clara Singh, the one I do for low in field. But what I don't understand, that Clara Singh charges get dropped because there is nothing against Clara Singh. Everything Clara Singh do was in line with the law, and all the courts them prove that. What low in field did, and Mingo did, and Valda Lawrence did, when Valda Lawrence was signing Mingo fraud papers them for swearing Granger, she and Roxanne Myers was signing Mingo report. All of y'all gonna go to jail. All of y'all gonna go to jail. These things have to stop. And they have to stop now. We can't let people continue doing this bullshit to we people and we country. And when they finish, they think everything is well and okay. And they can continue living the normal life. Because as simple as you look at it now, everything finished with. Simple as you look at it now. If Lowenfield they get through, or Mingo they get through, to Spear and Granger, what would have happened to the country? Look at the amount of things I just tell y'all about what these people do. If these people are staying here for the next 5 years, what would happen to the country? So y'all look at that. Look at it that way. If these people continue in power, what would have happened to the country? Lowenfield, you cannot expect to try to thief an election, disenfranchise 200,000+ people. Then you break it down to 100,000+ people. Then at the end, you put on 15,000+ people. And you expect to don't go to jail for charges to be dropped against you? No charges is not going to be dropped against nobody. None of y'all. And the investigation start already, but maybe they weren't telling y'all. But the investigation start towards each and every one of the ministers them about the fraud and the thieving, the white collar crimes. Investigation done launch against all of y'all already. Y'all ain't know yet. Now, I was reading something that Nandalal sent Harman a letter telling he that the techie contract and he ain't got a job no more. He said he don't have to respect. Well, he don't respect this government. This government is an illegitimate government.
News that he does not recognize Mr. Nandlal as Attorney General, nor does he recognize the government. He said that Moore wants his contract as Director General to be honored. In response to a letter of termination issued by the Attorney General Anil Nandlal, Harman, who served as Director General in the coalition government, says that he does not recognize Nandlal's authority, as he told Prime News that the terms of his contract should be honored. Nandlal and
Harman didn't want to listen to Granger, who was the former president. He don't want to listen to this president. Harman is a man by himself. Harman is above the law. Harman alone live in Guyana, or Harman own Guyana. And the people in Guyana, so he could dictate what he want to do and how he want to do it. And nobody must say nothing, and nobody could do nothing. But I remember, and Mr. Nandalal said something at one time, that when people do these kind of things, it gives him motivation to work harder. And put him spirit now, Mr. Nandalal. I know y'all in power now and y'all maybe want to turn a blind eye on certain things. I hope you have the same motivation now towards these people. Okay, everybody. Thank you. This is the end of this video. Have a wonderful day. Please stay away from Rona.